That's a great idea. I mean, if you want to take a photo of the bus, but again, I will be out here, Roy will be out here, so if you at least remember what we look like. And there's not, if you look really closely at the center of the Athabasca Glacier, you can actually see a
a couple of hours later.
You gotta re-roll one up? No. Bottom blade, bottom blade. Yeah.
Have we got everyone?
a nice explored tour, so that'll be really nice.
Perfect.
So.
Just super.
What's that? Super duper, Kyle. No. That is unacceptable. Okay, welcome aboard, everybody. So together we'll be spending the next 4 minutes.
Wow. Wow.
Get comfy. And then I'll take you up to your Ice Explorer driver. Real treat for you. You guys are with Marianne today. She's great. She's going to give you an awesome time. But first, I get you. So settle in. What's that? That's right. Everyone's from Australia today?
Yep.
All right, welcome, guys. We're always happy to have you here.
Yay.
Aussie.
Oi.
Thank you, guys. I love that. Okay, are we ready to go?
Yes.
Awesome. Let's get going, everybody. People are walking across the bridge. So this bridge is the famous Glacier Sidewalk. Sorry, Glacier Skywalk is what they call it. There it is. Are you guys doing the skywalk after?
We've done it.
Yeah. Well, it's right here above us. Have you already done it?
We've done it.
Oh, you did the Glacier Skywalk. Very nice. Very been there, done that. All right. So this is probably the most dangerous part of our entire tour right here. And nailed it. Woo! Okay, I want to teach you a little bit about the area on the way up. So take a look at the front right of the bus. And this is a feature that we call a parking lot. You guys might know it as a car park. Parking lot, car park. On the right side of that is a pile of dirt. Do you see that pile of dirt?
Yeah.
That's called the terminal moraine. It's a very, very special pile of dirt. For the glacier. And if I'm being honest, That's as exciting as I can make dirt. I try. Rocks and trees. Speaking of rocks and trees, take a look at the left. Small subalpine forest here. Believe it or not, a lot of these trees, some of them are 300 years old. So up here, such an extreme environment that they don't really have a lot of time to grow, right? Really short growing season, 60 days a year max. Another interesting feature about these trees, notice how some of them only grow needles on one side. Do you see that? Yeah. That's called flagging. And that's because of the cold wind that comes off the glacier. It kind of makes it difficult for growth to happen on that side of the tree. Now the benefit of these trees, if you cut one down and put it in a corner, it makes a great Christmas tree. Only in the corner though. You save on decoration, you save on lighting, you get a lot of extra space. Beautiful. Now here we are in the Ice Explorer parking lot. Ice Explorer car park. Trying to talk Australian here, yep. Talk Aussie. Ice Explorer car park. So like I said, you're going with Marianne today. Marianne is an awesome tour guide. This is her second year doing it, so she's quite experienced.
Good afternoon. How are you today, guys? Good. So my name is Marianne. I'll be your bus driver today. Ooh. So we're going to be driving for 20 minutes until we reach the turnaround point. So this is where you're going to walk on the glacier today. I would say 15 to 20 minutes up there, maybe earlier because it's a bit cold. That's up to you. Feel free to open the windows if you want to take better pictures. Just make sure you don't drop your camera. Okay? And let me know if it's too cold in the bus. I can turn on the heaters. Sounds good? Yeah. Ready to go? Yeah. Okay, let's do this.
Damn hot.
Alright guys, does everyone can hear me? Yep. You do? Yep. Am I loud enough? Yep. Yes, okay, good. So like I told you before, my name is Marianne. I'm from Montreal. Do you guys know where Montreal is? Yep. It's in Canada. Yay! Where are you guys from? Australia. All of you? Yep. Good. Are you guys enjoying your trip in Canada so far? Yes. Yeah? Did you have good weather? Yes. You did? Good. Because it was actually raining yesterday here. Yeah, and 2 days ago, lots of smoke. We couldn't see anything, couldn't breathe. So lucky. You're very lucky because even 2 days ago, I had to go back home. I couldn't drive. I felt very sick. So, yeah.
Looking good now.
Thanks. Thanks. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. Did you see any wildlife?
Yes. We've seen bears.
Bears? A grizzly? Black bear? In front of the bus, really? Where was that? Okay, so this morning. Oh, wow. That's nice.
And yesterday.
Was it a big bear or no? Baby teenager-ish? Yeah, okay. Anything else? Did you see elk? No. Chipmunks? Chipmunks, yeah? Yeah. Yes. Yeah, they are all over the place. Yeah. Well, good. And here you're actually very lucky because it's not raining for once or snowing. Just to give you an idea, we had the first snow this year on July 16th. So that was not too long ago. Lots of snow here. So it was pretty bad. And even this morning, I think it was snowing a little bit on the top of the mountains, if you just look here in front of us. So it's really beautiful. Did you come today to the ice field from Jasper, Lake Louise, or Banff? From Banff, okay. Well, when you were in Banff, You are actually located in the montane ecoregion of the Rockies, where usually it's nice and warm. There's a lot of vegetation and wildlife. But here right now, we are in the subalpine ecoregion, so that's the one in the middle. And we are about 2,200 meters above sea level. And now we are going into the alpine ecoregion, so that's the one at the top, where it's definitely colder. There's pretty much just rocks, ice, snow, and wind. So this is where we're going, but it's actually pretty cool on the glacier. I'm sure you're gonna have a wonderful time there. Is it your first time on a glacier? Yes. Yes? No? Where was the New Zealand? Yeah. I've heard there's a lot of beautiful glaciers up there as well. Yeah. Well, if you just look in front of us here, just around this corner, we have a beautiful, beautiful view of the Athabasca Glacier, where we're going to right now. If you look to the left of the glacier, about 11 o'clock, there's kind of like 3 big stairs of ice on the top of the glacier. Can you see that? You do. So we call that Ice Falls, and on the top of it we have the edge of the Columbia ice field. Do you guys know what's the difference between an ice field and a glacier? No. Yes, but you can't remember? Well, just for example, so you can imagine the ice field as a big frozen lake and a glacier as a frozen river. The lake feeds the rivers, and it's the same thing for an ice field feeding glaciers, like this one here. An ice field is shaped as a large plateau or a basin. As the snow accumulates and forms ice, it fills up the plateau. When it gets too full, the ice will overflow down the valley by gravity and create glaciers. And the Columbia ice field feeds 6 glaciers in total, but we can only see 3 of them from the road, including the Athabasca. And from the center, you can see Dome Glacier, so that's the one on the right-hand side of Athabasca Glacier. Are you guys going towards Jasper later or not? Are you going back to Banff? Okay. Because there's another glacier towards Jasper. It's called Studfield, and that's the 3rd one fed from the ice field that you can see from the road.
It's not dirty frost, that's it.
Okay, so that's basically the nicest part of our journey together, guys. Going down the hill. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yay! Okay. If you're scared, just close your eyes. So this is our moraine road. Do you know what a moraine is? Big pile of dirt. You got it. But this one in particular, we call it a lateral moraine. So there's one on the left and right sides of the glacier. It tells us how high the glacier used to be over than 175 years ago. As you can see, it's pretty steep here. It's about 18-degree angle or 32% grade. It means for 100 meters traveled forward, we're going down 32 meters. That's one of the steepest unpaved road in North America. You're doing it today on the bus with no seat belts, and you also have a little French girl as a driver. But don't worry, this vehicle here can handle up to 36% grade, so we're good. And it's also equipped with 2 features. The first one is the front wheel drive. When I engage the front wheel drive, all the wheels are running together. It gives us more traction, more grip on the road here. And finally, we have the transmission lockup. That's a very special feature because I'm using it just to go down the hill, and it's preventing us to get speed down the moraine. It makes it a lot easier for me to drive because I don't have to use my service brake the whole way down. And also a lot safer for all of us because we actually made it, and that was not too bad, right? Pretty easy. So yeah, oh, and we do have some wildlife why we see these little groups of people walking on the glacier. Do you guys think we are on the glacier now? Or no? No. It doesn't look like it, but believe it or not, yes, we are on the glacier. And we are currently driving on an ice core moraine. Ice core moraine. What it means, it's below us. We have some rocks that can be up to 1 meter thick. And below that rock, we have glacial ice. Yes. And to give you a better idea how it looks like, so when we're going to get closer to that big puddle in front of us here, just have a look on your left hand side and you should be able to see the ice protruding from the rocks. But now we just have to wait a little bit because that big puddle, it's a one-way traffic. And we're just going to wait for this bus to pass us.
What are we doing with these, Sean? What's this one?
Too many. No, this year we're very busy because the national parks are free. So we have about 5,000 visitors in one day. Yeah, it's a lot of people, trust me. So that's the ice core moraine that I was talking about. It's basically a mix of rocks and ice. But before we get fully on the glacier, we just need to wash our tires a little bit. So that's a big puddle. It's made by us. We call it the Brewster Tire Wash. And yes, it is to wash your tires. But there is a good reason. It's because we don't want to carry any dirt or rocks on the glacier. Glacial ice and snow are pale, so they have the ability to reflect rays from the sun. This is known as the albedo effect. Better rock is darker, so it absorbs the heat from the sun and that accelerates the melting of the glacier. It's like wearing a black t-shirt on a hot sunny day. The rock will do the exact same thing here on the ice. We don't want that, so that's why we had to wash our tires to reduce a little bit more our impact on the glacier. And now if you just look around the bus here, it's a little bit dirty on the surface of the glacier. It's totally natural. It comes from the mountains around us because there's always a strong wind coming off the ice field. And I'm sure you're going to feel that wind later on the ice today. It's pretty windy. So that's basically just a little layer of dust on the surface of the glacier. But the glacier doesn't look like that the whole way up to the turnaround point. It's just now, we just got on the glacier, on the edge, closer to the mountains, and that's why it's a bit more dirty here. As the same as the tire wash, we don't want to create any of our own crevasses with our big buses. Have you ever heard about a crevasse before? Crevasse, yes. So you know it's a big crack in the ice. It can be anywhere on the glacier, not on this road. They can form when there is a change in the direction or speed of the movement of the ice. Some of them here can be over than 30 meters deep, and that's big enough to swallow a big bus like us. Another thing that we need to be aware of, it's called a snow bridge. That's a thin layer of snow covering cracks and holes in the ice. They're dangerous because now it's summer, believe it or not, and there's a lot of changing temperature on the surface of the glacier. Some of the snow bridges cannot support the weight of a person, and you never know what they're covering. It might be a crevasse, for example. And do you remember a little group of people walking on the glacier today? Yes? So that's another company. It's called the Ice Walk, and they organize walks on the glacier for 3 to 6 hours every day. And they really need to be careful about snow bridges because they're the one walking on the ice every single day. But they have a guide with them to make sure it's safe for the group to walk on the glacier. And I don't really recommend to walk on the glacier by yourself. It can be quite dangerous, especially if you don't have any experience or knowledge about glacier travel. So it's a lot better if you have a guide with you. Finally, one of the most dangerous thing, in my opinion, it's called a mill well. And that's a big hole in the ice. All the meltwater from the glacier drains into that hole, and some of the mill wells can reach the bottom of the glacier. You might wonder how thick is the ice underneath us. So it's about 250 meters. That's pretty thick. And if you fall into a mill well, it's kind of like a water slide, but less fun and definitely colder. I'll show you 3 mill wells on our way back, just to give you an idea. Crevasses, snow bridges, mill wells exist on all glaciers, including the one on our left-hand side. If you just have a look on our left here, there's 2 glaciers up there sitting on the mountains. Do you see them? Yep. You do. The one to the very left, it looks like a staircase. This is AA or AA Glacier. There's no official name, but we decided to call it AA because to the left of it we have Mount Athabasca and to the right Mount Andromeda. They both start with an A, so that's why it's AA Glacier. The one to the right of AA, it looks like it's falling down the valley. Do you see that one as well? Yes. So this is Andromeda Glacier. It's probably one of my favorite because sometimes you can see some big pieces of ice falling down the valley. It's very loud. And it's pretty cool to see. So now guys, it's actually time for us to be free on the ice. In front of us here, that's the turnaround point where you're gonna walk today on the glacier. Are you guys excited? Yeah. Yes? For your safety, you need to stay inside the safe zone where you can walk. That's in front of the buses. Do not walk behind or between the buses. That's really important. Do not walk behind or between the buses. There's also a boundary area. That's the red signs you'll see on the glacier. It says boundary area. Do not go beyond the boundary area. There's also a little stream of water, which is it's going to be on our right-hand side, like on the right-hand side of the turnaround point. Feel free to have a sip. Brewster does not assume responsibility for persons choosing to disembark on the ice. It means be careful. It's very slippery today, so if you don't have any proper shoes, maybe don't go too far. There's also lots of puddles, so watch where you step all the time. Our bus number is number 546. Do you see that number above the window? 546? That's our bus number. From the outside, you just see number 46. So don't panic, it's our bus. Today we are leaving the turnaround at 1 o'clock. So that's in 20 minutes. Right now it's 12:40, guys. So before I let you go, I'm not too sure. It's probably below 0 right now. Yeah, it's very cold. If you guys want to leave your stuff inside the bus, no problem. If you want to come back earlier, no problem, okay? Before I let you go, what's your bus number again?
546.
What time you need to be back on the bus?
1 o'clock.
Okay, thank you for listening.
Sorry.
No worries. Everyone bring your cups. I've got a special surprise for you once you get off the ice coach.
Ice wine. I hope it's not ice wine.
Yeah, it's not. It's pretty sweet.
What one did we get off? Sharon? Which one did we get off? That one, 546, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I think they do that sometime here as well. Oh, okay. Wow, that must be amazing. Okay, welcome back, guys. I think we all made it. How was your little drink?
We're still drinking.
Nice way to warm you up, okay? How was the glacier today? It was good? Not too cold? Nah? It's funny because sometimes people ask me, oh, Marianne, why is it so cold? And I'm like, well, guys, you know, it's kind of made of ice. Might be a little bit chilly. But some days, believe it or not, it's really warm on the glacier. So guys, I wanted to show you a mill well. So that's the big hole that I was talking about before. So if you just have a look here on our left, that's a baby mill well. It's a big hole. And I can't stop because there's another bus coming up. But some of them on this glacier can be 2 buses wide. They're not next to the road, okay? And if you do the ice walk on the... Did you have enough time to take good pictures? Yeah? Do you think it was slippery? Yeah? Do you guys have any questions for me? No questions? Any questions about me? No? Why I'm French? Why? Oh, well, that's a good one. Yeah. Why I'm French? Well, not sure. Not sure. My parents are both French. Yes. So we live. I'm from Quebec. I don't know if you know that province. That's on the East Coast, and that's the French part of Canada. Yes. So we basically colonized Canada first, okay? And then the English people came here and they took over. So yeah. But it's funny because if you go in Quebec, it's basically just French speakers there. They just speak French. Yeah. And yeah. No other animals. It just becomes because sometimes for the ice walk, the tour guide, he brings his dog with him. His name is George the puppy. And he's been walking on the glacier for about 15 years now already. Yeah, that's the only animal that we can see there. Maybe sometimes some type of birds. Or even butterflies. I've seen a couple butterflies recently. So another question that we get asked a lot here is if we do need a special driver license to drive these buses. The answer is yes, of course. And here in Canada, we need our Class 2 driver license, which is to drive buses or a vehicle more than 24 passengers. The whole training takes about 4 weeks if you pass all your tests, which I did, thank God. And then if you want to drive the snow coach on the glacier, that's an extra 2 weeks because you need to write down your tour and you also need to get the training. For me, it took a little bit longer because my first language parts of the glacier can be blue. At the bottom of the streams, it was blue, or even inside the mill well, it was blue. Well, it's important to know how the ice is made on the glacier before to know why it's blue. And glacial ice, it's different from regular ice because, you know, regular ice is frozen water. But glacial ice is compressed snow. And that's a very long process that we call frinification. So that's how the ice is made on the glacier. Frinification. It compresses the snow so much that it becomes extremely dense. it is so dense, in fact, that it has a unique effect on lights, similar when you shine a flashlight through a crystal and the light becomes a rainbow. The same thing happens here on the glacier. It's just when the light hits the ice, the light is forced to separate. However, the blue light cannot penetrate the ice, so it reflected off the glacier. That's why we see it blue. And fruitification happens mostly on the top of the glacier, where it's still connected to the ice field. Like I mentioned earlier, a glacier, it's always in movement. It's like a big frozen river. But some parts of it move differently depending where you measure the flow. For example, the outside edges of the glacier move a little bit slower because the ice rubs against rocks, which create friction, slowing down the movement of the ice. The middle part of the glacier doesn't have that friction, so it's moving a little bit faster. And it is moving every day. We don't see it, we don't feel it either, but it is from a few centimeters up to a meter every day. Even if the glacier is still flowing down the valley, it is in a stage of recession. It means it's getting smaller every year. It's not getting bigger anymore. It's not exactly because it's melting. It's because there's not enough fruitification occurring. And once again, fruitification is how the ice is made on the glacier. So basically what's happening during winter, the glacier will take one step forward. Now it's summer and the glacier takes 2 steps back. That's why we lose 10 to 15 meters in length every year. That's pretty much the length of the bus here that we're losing in ice. Trust me, that's a lot of ice that we're losing. Since 1843, the glacier has lost about 2 kilometers in length and over than 100 meters in depth. I know that's a lot of numbers, but to give you a better idea, you can picture yourself in 1843, when the glacier was high as the lateral moraines here on both sides of the glacier, and the toe, or the terminus of the glacier, was in the parking lot next to the Discovery Center where you were before. So basically, in 1843, the glacier was filling up all this valley here on our left-hand side, and now that's what we have left. So not too much, and we think the Athabasca Glacier will fully disappear in maybe 150 years from now, if it's not sooner because of the global warming. And this operation, so the tours on the glacier, might last another 5 to 10 years. Not more, because at some point we won't be able to do tours on the glacier. It's going to be too dangerous and too small. So at least today you had the chance to see it and walk on it before it's gone, and that's a really nice experience. Another big part of the experience is probably having a ride on this big bus. Don't you think, guys? Yeah. Well, let me tell you a little bit more about our buses. This is called a Terra bus. It's made by a company named Foremost, based in Calgary, Alberta. Have you been to Calgary before? No. Are you going to or no? Oh, you are? Okay. Well, it's a lovely city, and they made the buses over there, so that's nice because it's a Canadian company. These buses are equipped with 6 Terra tires. I'm sure you have noticed they're pretty big tires. They cost $4,000 each tires. And I think our money, it's quite similar to yours, right? Yeah, so $4,000 each tires. We can get normally 2 or 3 seasons out of each tires, then we replace them. So keep in mind that right now we are driving on $24,000 of tires. There's only 23 Terra buses in the whole world. 22 of them are owned by Brewster Travel Canada. You might wonder, where is the 23rd one? It's owned by a company from the United States, and they use it for research purposes in Antarctica and for the transportation of scientists and their equipment over there. Here at the ice field, we have 15 buses to do tours on the glacier. It doesn't seem too much, but there's tours leaving every 15 minutes. We can have 56 passengers in one bus. And like I told you before, during the high season, we have almost 5,000 visitors here in one day. Brewster bought the first bus in 1981 for the cost of $350,000. today, if you want to buy a brand new bus like this one, you better start saving now. It costs $1.3 million. And Brewster owns 22 of them. So, quite expensive. But before we had these buses, before we did tours on Glacier, or even before this area was explored, there was a climbing party here back in 1898, headed by a guy named Norman Colley. And he's a very special person here because he discovered the Columbia ice field, that giant piece of ice that technically you cannot see from the road. Originally from England, he achieved a lot of climbs in Scotland, the Himalayas, all around the world, but a lot of his first descent were right here at the ice field. A first descent means he's the first person to climb something, for example, a mountain. The goal of his expedition was to find two big, mysterious mountains. Unable to find those peaks, in 1897, he planned another trip here in Canada. And during that trip, Norman Colley named a few mountains around us, like Mount Athabasca, which is on our right-hand side now, but we have a beautiful view of it, back to the gates down there, or even from the center. And he really wanted to get on the top of it, and it takes a while to get up there, about 14 hours up and down, and it's over than 3,000 meters above sea level. So he went up there, and when he got to the summit, what he saw took his breath away, because although he didn't find the two big mysterious mountains that he was looking for, but he did discover the Columbia ice field, surrounded by unnamed, unknown, and unclimbed beautiful mountains. I always like to think that the mountains that were here 100 years ago for Norman Colley are still the same for us today to enjoy and explore. And that's why I keep coming back here. I've been here for 4 years now. I really love rock climbing. So usually, when I'm not working, I go climbing. And having a backyard like this is pretty awesome. There are very special mountains, and I hope you think they're as special as I do. I wouldn't have the chance to live here if you didn't come today, visit my home. So I just want to say a big thank you to everybody for visiting us today. Thank you guys. Yay. So now it's already the end of our journey together, unfortunately. If you have any other questions for me, any comments, high fives, or hugs, I'll be at the bottom of the stairs as soon as I park this bus. If not, well, enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your holidays in Canada. And there will be a shuttle bus to take you back to the center after I park, of course. Yeah. That's pretty much the hardest part of my job, because I'm sure you have noticed, but this bus has a turning radius of the Titanic, so not the best. Here we are. We all made it, guys. Once again, thank you for visiting us. I hope you had a good time.
Yep.
Did you have a hard time to understand my accent?
No.
No? Really? Very clear. Of course. Sometimes no, but yes.
I mean, when you go in the big cities, it's mostly bilingual, but if you just go away from Montreal or Quebec City, it's very French.
Okay, so you might have been in trouble.
Very French. I'm very French.
Very French.
Yes. Thank you so much.
very much. Thank you.
I think it is.
That's magic. Can I explain that?
My name's Alec. We're going out for a lovely 5-minute drive back down to the center, so don't get too attached. I'm not in for clinging relationships. We're gonna have an excellent time. You're gonna go out to the Skywalk after that, I believe, and I don't know. No, you're not going to Skywalk? Oh, unfortunate. Oh well, that's all good from there on in. Means you don't get to walk out to your imminent death. Oh, fine. You're gonna die anyway. It's all fun. Let's have a bit of fun on the way down, all right, folks? Yeah. Wonderful stuff.
Perfect. Let's get this show on the road.
Oh, be there. Yeah, the same one. Marianne. Should come up with RIAN.
Oh, wow. First things first, did you have a fun time out there with Marianne? Yeah. Excellent. How did you find the glacier? Cold.
I see.
Cold. Were you expecting subtropical temperatures?
Yeah.
Cold. A large chunk of ice. It's not going to be much other than cold. But I mean, you still have the sun out. It's nice, and it's actually a pretty good day for it. I mean, it's not warmed out here, or at least warm per se for you guys. But for me, sun's out, it's positive, or the temperature's in the positives. So I can't really complain about that. As I
What a princess.
don't say that yet, I haven't parked. Oh, good. I'm a professional. All right, have a lovely day, folks.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
No, isn't it? Isn't it?
Golden liksom en最大。
飞呢？不对吧？从那边的。
那边要远着呢。
I do.可以。哇，很轻，很轻的不怕，那个地势的。Because it was all red, she could see it herself.
Oh, do it, yeah.
The car is cold.
That's it?
That is it?
That's all. Any wildlife up there?
Known as I keep beating down Shelby. You're gonna come back from Shelby and be like, that town was great. No, it's
we want to know what's wrong.
The plains, and Calgary is, you know, the country capital of Canada. They have the biggest outdoor festival, the Calgary Stampede, and it's flat and it's plains. All see, we're driving, and it's flat and there's nothing. And then the town of Shelby just pops up. Big Bow Glacier there. And all of that water is feeding this lake, and all of that is roaring. There was so much water coming off the surrounding mountains because it was such a great year for snowfall. Yeah, from this angle you can definitely tell that Crowfoot Glacier encounters a bit of a mountain that it can't quite overcome, splits into two, continues down. It's funny that you just said, come on trees, go away, because I've heard so many people say they should really get rid of more trees so it doesn't obstruct the view, the glaciers. I heard that one, that was fun. I used to work at the base of Denali. Denali is the tallest peak in North America. It's 20,000 feet, which is like...
Hi from?
Instead of going to the one up there in your beautiful country.
Right. Well, don't you think that tourists who will accidentally make that mistake and wind up in Montana, don't you think that they'll be disappointed?
Building this hotel had built it with the front of the hotel where all the guest rooms were facing this way, the right side of the coach. And Bow Falls is on the left side of the coach. And so the crew quarters, the kitchen. This is the hotel off to our left, directly in the wrong way. A lot of the other guides say he's saying pull my finger. But this is the general manager, he was the general manager.
As if flowers.
I mentioned before that this is Fairmont owned, and that is because CP Line bought Fairmont. If you'd like to come back up here, they do have public bars. You can go in and have a, from what I understand, a very nice $25 cocktail.
Cocktail.
No, I personally have not actually been inside the building, but I hear it is very beautiful and highly recommended to go inside. We're actually going to head around to the other side of the building, down to Bow Falls. Has anyone here seen A River of No Return? Marilyn Monroe? Okay, so it was filmed right here in the falls. She went right over the Bow Falls in that film. More of a rapids, I would say, than it is necessarily a waterfall, but quite dangerous nonetheless. And you can see some very didn't deter a couple of kayakers about a year and a half ago that decided to surprise a bunch of tourists. Whitewater rafting will actually launch from the beach just below Bow Falls. basically from the area that we parked, that is. It'll take about 10 minutes, and then we'll be on our way to the hotel.
Two. Take one. My God.
Oh, yes, there is one. Is he still there? Yes.
Oh my God.
We will make that stop. If you're looking for a pharmacy, your best option is going to be the IGA, the supermarket. They do have a pharmacy in the, so if you walk inside, it's the back right corner. That'll be your best option.
Did you talk to the manager
Yep.
about breakfast? Now I insist you ask and talk to him. You teach him how to cook eggs.
She wants the same eggs as today.
You want the same eggs?
You are going to cook fresh salad.
Or, but if we finish breakfast a bit earlier than that, we can grab our bags and head out a bit earlier. That does. Yeah, I know the eggs are weird, but our bacon and our hash browns, I know are definitely different than they are. Because the bacon and hash browns they served were completely normal for the U.S.
Oh my God.
Dear me. Are they real? But then you'll see another 100 places you'd like to come back to.
I know.
It's all beautiful. Everything you see is beautiful. Goes around the other way so you can come on the side of the street. Full on.
Today's Saturday.
Is it? Or is it Sunday and Perth tomorrow? Today? Today is Sunday and Perth. How confusing.
All right, so if you'd like to get off here, this is right in the center of town. If you're looking for the
Hurry, hurry, hurry. Well, I feel like it's easier when you're actually
One day you should know how you can't
Bravo.